Hi, welcome to Creative Soul Life. My name is Charlotte DeMillay. This is episode I have no idea because I've been on a break this summer. This is just a little quick update to let you know what's been going on in my life and let you know what to look forward to as I resume recording some of the Creative Soul Life episodes. So I had kind of a slow spring start, and I was trying to do a lot of video content between Creative Soul Life. I was doing some things on TikTok, a little more like personal and humor and stuff, and then doing some YouTube shorts and trying to upload like some of the creative living type things. And I think I just had a little burnout, and I've heard other content creators talk about this. That you just kind of get tired of everything being for the camera. I think I felt some of that, and there's a fine line between creating and filming it and being a content creator. And for me, I think that line kind of blurred. So yeah, I just took a break, and also had a weird summer. I had a mole cut off my neck that was cancerous. It was like one of the lowest grades, whatever the basal. Um, but I had to have stitches and had to stay inside for 2 weeks and try not to move my head too much or sweat. And when the doctor told me this, I'm like, we live in Florida. I'm going to sweat walking back out to my car. But the whole having to stay inside and everything, it was kind of weird. Well, my daughters joked that I'm solar powered. They knew it, and I found that out during that 2 weeks. But it also, being out inside, away from the garden and everything, I had a lot of time for reflection, and especially reflection on things like, you know, creating versus content, my art, and the business I'm trying to create with it. So I did a whole lot of introspection and reflection over those couple of weeks. And then I traveled to Texas, and and I'll have that helped create a couple of ideas for episodes. And then I traveled to Texas, and a really good friend of mine that I had met through PTA, my kids' PTA, and we've been friends like almost 20 years now. And I had the absolute honor of being there to help with her installation as president of Texas PTA, which is a big deal. Texas is the second largest PTA in the nation. So that was really cool getting to see her. We haven't seen each other in, I think, about 5 or 6 years, and seeing some other friends that um, been friends with forever with my kids' school. So that was nice. And of course, I got to see my daughter and my son that both live out in Texas as well. And then when I came back from that, I brought my grandson with me, who I adore, and we had to do the grandparent thing and, of course, take him to Disney. Because are you a Florida grandparent if you don't take the kid to Disney? So we did that and had a blast. Had a really good visit with him. And then his mom came out for a week to visit before she took him home. And she was launching a new business when she got back. So it was a really cool week. She was trying to kind of get some rest before going into that, but there was all that kind of planning and making her business materials and stuff. So we enjoyed each other's company and doing that, and just kind of chilling on the porch a lot. So it was really nice. It was that was kind of 3 weeks of my summer that were the best part, with seeing people, seeing old friends. Again, another episode idea. And then after that, after they left, I had another mole removed on my leg, and not quite as serious as the other one, but still I'm under no swimming and things like that while it heals, which again, I live in Florida, that's kind of a pain. But it hasn't been as limiting as far as my gardening activities, which, speaking of, got way behind, and I've spent more time pulling weeds this summer than doing anything else. But in all this stuff this summer, I kind of moved into a lower gear. It's really nice. I think you've heard me joke about being a recovering type A personality, and I'm really, really leaning into the recovery portion of that and learning how to live in a lower gear. And that is absolutely worth a whole episode, because my husband, who's also type A and is going to be retiring soon, we've had some very good talks about this, about how to come off of that productivity mindset and achievement mindset and goals and go, go, go. And I've touched on that a little bit here in Creative Soul Life, but it's definitely worth more discussion, because it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to calm down that type of personality. So that's pretty much where I am this summer. I've kind of been trying to take care of some things in my art business, trying to, I guess, tidy it up per se. I have done a lot of writing instead of being on the camera this summer. I've gotten my email started back up. So if you're interested in seeing what goes with that, I send that out roughly every other week. It's called Cultivating Creativity. And I generally have a story in there that's kind of inspirational or thought provoking. And then just little updates on what's going on in my studio, my art, my life, my creative living. It's very brief, not intrusive, and I wouldn't know how to sell somebody's name no matter what. So when you sign up for that, you're not getting spammed to death. It's just me. And I don't like getting spam. I don't like getting an everyday email with the latest, greatest product somebody's selling. I don't do that. So if you're interested, head over to my website and sign up for Cultivating Creativity email. I've also been writing on my blog some this summer, trying to get that sort of dusted off. I do it periodically, and then I'll go, like most blog writers these days, will go 6 months without posting something. But I've really enjoyed getting back to writing. I've always considered myself a writer. And of course, book ideas that may or may not ever materialize. But it has been nice getting back out. It's something I enjoy. Like I'll sit here on the porch and do some writing. So there's some, and also on the blog, it explains kind of what I've been doing with my art lately. And so that's what I've been up to. It's been a weird summer, but yet a busy summer. And like everybody, a very, very fast summer. It was over before you knew it. I can't believe that I'm almost at the end of October. I had been planning on this update now for a couple of months. Finally realized there is no good time. I just got to jump in, throw the camera on, and do it. And like I said, I have been planning more episodes of Creative Soul Life. I'm hoping to get back on a schedule where I am releasing one at the least once a month. My goal is to get it every other week for the rest of this year of having a Creative Soul Life episode. And again, hitting for that sweet spot between about 15 to 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And you can watch it on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, even the Amazon. It gets distributed to all of that. So anyway, not a lot of creative inspiration today, other than it's okay to take a break. And we're going to talk about that on an upcoming Creative Soul Life as well. If anything sparked an interest, put a comment or reach out to me on my email, charlotte@dmalley.com, or drop a comment on the YouTube or Spotify. If anything I talked about, piqued an interest, I've probably figured out something to talk about it with Creative Soul Life. But if not, if it's something you're interested in, let me know. Now, go be creative and feed your soul.